प्लेराइट ऑटोमेशन में सबसे ज़्यादा पूछे जाने वाला क्वेश्चन अगर कोई है तो वो है व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन ब्राउजर कॉन्टेक्स्ट एंड पेजेस. दिस इज वन ऑफ द toughest question you can say, or you can say this is one of the most confusing questions which people are not able to understand. तो आज के वीडियो में हम इस पे चर्चा करेंगे एंड आई होप आई एम एबल टू गिव वन ऑफ द बेस्ट lectures onto this particular session, because if you are able to understand, then your 20% of your problem is solved. Because I've seen most of the people getting confused that what is the difference between browser and context, from where this page is coming. I don't know why everybody wants to go into very much of technical details, but first let's try to understand the basic meaning of context. So, what is the meaning of context when we talk about in normal English language? If you are watching my video as of now in English language, so you must be watching it in some context, right? Context basically mean what I am trying to say is that from my frame of mind is, let's say the basic meaning is that in some circumstances, circumstantial, right? So you might have heard people saying some sort of things like that, uh, the way that I have jotted down one simple explanation over here is that in context of your educational qualification you are super intelligent, but in context of your daily life activities you're poor, you're a complete failure, you're even not that good. So what does it means that there are two circumstances in the life of a person wherein, if we talk about an educational qualification, that guy seems to be a super intelligent, right? But on a day-to-day daily life activities he may not be that intelligent, right? So again, let's try to understand even more deeper, because if this concept is clear, then the coding becomes very easier in automation for the playwright, because these are one of the most important asked questions. So before going on to this particular diagram, this diagram I have made it with the help of my own mind, my own assumptions. But even before understanding it, let's try to understand this particular diagram or an image. Okay, so let's say a person, the person is the same, this is the same guy, right? But in three different circumstances or in three different situations he is acting a totally different way. When it comes to the educational qualification, this guy seems to be a topper kind of stuff, right? But when it comes to anger kind of moment, and in circumstances where some hate is there, some jealousy is there, I mean, you have seen that he totally becomes like a demon. But when it comes to his love life, he is a super good guy, right? So what I mean to say over here is that one person is having three different attributes in three different contexts. In this context he is a super good guy, but in another context he is a super bad guy. And in this context, if I talk about, he seems to be a topper kind of person, right? So now I hope I have made some sense. This is only what this context is all about, right? In which circumstance what we are trying to say. Now how it is correlated to the playwright concept. So before that you need to understand what is a browser over here, right? So the browser is the same, but a browser can have three different contexts. In the same way, the person is remaining the same, but he has three different contexts. He behaves in a very different manner in three different ways. Okay, so when we talk about a browser is a full browser instance. So full browser instance basically means that it can be of a Chrome browser, it can be a Firefox, Safari, Opera, whatever it may be. Right? So from this browser we can create three different browser contexts. Okay, and what these browser contexts are, these are nothing, these are just independent incognito sessions. Apart from that, it is nothing, it is so simple at this point in time. Okay, so do not get confused. Again, I'm reiterating, difference between browser and browser context is, the only difference is that the browser is a full browser instance that simply gets opened up, but from that browser we can create three different instances. Like from one browser I can create three incognito mode instances of a Chrome browser. Okay, so now try to understand this diagram. It will make even more sense. So browser is a full browser instance, and within, from one browser, within a Chrome browser that you have installed over there, you can create two incognito sessions. Can we create or not? Yes, we can create. We already know how to create, you know, incognito sessions, and all those sessions are simply isolated sessions. The value, the data that is being over put over here, will not be affecting anything or any activity or any data that is being displayed or an ongoing activity onto another browser context. Which means that which means that allow me to explain it. So let's say I am opening this particular Chrome profile. So this is my full browser instance. So what is a browser? Browser is a full browser instance. It contains many things. It contains my data. It contains my sessions. It contains my cookies. It contains my extensions as well. Okay. But when I go and let's say if I click on new incognito window, see I am able to open one incognito window. I can able to open two incognito windows, right? And on these incognito window, on one window I can simply open amazon.in. I can perform different set of operations, and over here I can simply open flipkart.com, let's say. So these are two browser contexts. These are not two different browsers. From one browser I have created two independent sessions, and whatever activity is going on, let's say if it is the same site, you know then it will not be happening that the cookie will be shared or the data will be shared. Everything will be happened and handled independently. It is so simple, it is so deep, but we are always confused. And from that browser session, so this is the session that we created, we can create a particular page. Page is nothing but it's an another word of a tab. This is your page. Page.url, page.go to amazon.in. This is what it is all about. And I don't know, uh, enough mess has been created in the outside world. People create so many technical queries and answers, and still nobody is able to understand, or very few are able to understand. And at the time of interview, even if they understand, they are not able to explain the way I am explaining it to you. So if somebody asks to you what is the difference between browser context and pages in Playwright, so just tell them that browser is a single browser instance. Okay. And from that browser instance, as I've shown you, we can create multiple contexts. Okay, and these contexts are independent, and from these contexts we can open multiple pages, and this page you know uh, will be applicable to this context only, and this page is applicable to this context. And it is very simple, right? Whatever page I am opening is opening onto this particular incognito window. Whatever the page I have opened is opening into this incognito window. It is not opening over here as well. So these are two independent sessions. So I have made your concept very simple. This is a very clear cut and simple example that I have tried to explain. So this was the theory part, and very soon I'll be coming up with the conceptual part, like how to create a page fixture, how to create a browser fixture, how to create a browser context from a browser, and from browser context how to navigate a page. Nobody tells you, nobody, I mean, uh, has the time to tell you in such deep manner, but this is what the entire concept is all about. If somebody asks in an interview, this is the way that we have to explain. So I hope I have made some sense, and please let me know if you are able to understand. So thank you for your time, and thank you for your patience.